Develop an innovative product is not enough. What is most important is to find like-minded people for realizing such an idea. When at the end of the 20th century, a Dutchman named Karel Kinds decided to implement the auditing of transport invoices, his idea was innovative for all of Europe. The Dutch could not believe that this idea was the start of his life in an unknown country and uncharted territory.
I started a company and thinking about a company setting up a software business about freight audit, and we needed a lot of software for that. And I was looking for the software in Western Europe at big companies over there. We made some pilots and I was not happy with the pilots. And at that time my son was working in Kiev, at the Kiev Post at that time. I'm talking about 1990, yeah. And he said, you have to go to Kiev because there are some smart software developers. And I said, come on, Peter, what can I do in Kiev? Well, come over because I met some pretty good software developers. Okay, we went to Kiev and we visited a few companies. Some were in a back room behind big screens working there, and still we have one guy still working in this company from that time. And I was pretty amazed what they could do, and I said, okay, make a pilot. And they made a pilot, and then I said, this is really what I want to have. We needed to set up a customer service team, and he said, yeah, well, where can we do it? This in Holland? No, why? Why not in Ukraine? We started here, yeah, and it became successful.
Another significant factor for starting business in Ukraine was the fact that many Ukrainian specialists know many other foreign languages besides English. Karel's Ukrainian company has been successfully operating for nearly 20 years and opened its offices in many countries around the world. The entrepreneur decided that he should not spend the money he earned on fancy cars or exquisite resorts for achieving a certain level of success. Instead, he invested in a noble cause. Notably, he got such an opportunity purely by chance.
For kids in orphanages, I heard stories about orphanages, what was really awful. So, and we went there to visit one, and I saw a room with, well, let's say 70 babies in small beds, all Down syndrome babies, and they were found on the street.
This Dutch businessman was astonished. He found out about children's needs and bought items that they needed. Then he started to help on a regular basis, and after some time other businessmen joined him in his corporate program of social aid. In such way, a charity fund was created.
That's now more than 2 years ago. I said, let's make it an official foundation, so we can also do official things, and let's make it more wider, brighter, and also for the people, as you say, we are a real foundation, not only one company.
The charity fund accomplished more than 25 projects and helped 2,300 children over a period of 2 years in association with Ukrainian and foreign partners. In addition to direct financial support for providing necessity goods and food to those who need it, the fund gives support to the implementation of educational and sports gaming projects.
For example, next week we will visit 4 companies in our program My Future Profession. We started that program for the kids in orphanages, because when you live in an orphanage, you don't hear those stories. No stories about normal life or what's happening in a factory or what's happening in a shop or whatever. So what we do is we take a group of kids and we go to a company, let's say our company, and we go to a company. The IT part is telling the kids, you can become an IT developer. Or the girls can tell them, you can become a secretary, or you can become an auditor. And they tell them what to do, what to study to become this. And then they hear what's happening in the world. because it's bringing a future for the kids, but also for these companies and for the country.
The fund recently decided to pay close attention to sports training activities for orphans.
I knew two well-known Dutch volleyball girls playing in a national team, and I asked them, do you want to come to Kiev and teach children how they could play volleyball? Oh yes, we do. So they came for free here 1 week, and we invited a lot of kids. Every day we had groups of 60, 80 kids. That means when they arrived in the morning at 10 o'clock, we already had a DJ there with music, with everything. So having volleyball lessons with music, that's great. That's totally different, and they liked it very much.
The most relevant season for charity is during winter holidays, of course, since there are many children that do not have parents, meaning they will not receive any presents for Christmas. Fund volunteers try to learn what children want the most from their letters, and then with the fund's support, they organize the purchase and delivery of gifts to these orphans.
We call it St. Nikolai. Kids expect a present. And I remember when I was a kid, I asked St. Nicholas for an electric train, and I know my parents couldn't afford it, but in the end they found somewhere a second-hand electric train, and I really know the day I came down and I saw this electric train. Wow, miracle. And we want to have these miracles for those kids as well, because it's great, and you want to see those faces when they open the package.
The essential element of the work of the charity fund is constant control of the financing debit. Considering that Karel's main business specializes in the inspection of documents of multinational corporations, they have all the instruments for this form of activity.
We're not giving money. They can ask for things. They can send in a letter that we need this or we need that or whatever. The girls are looking if we can afford it, if we have money enough. But next to that, our company is controlled by the Dutch government. So every penny is really controlled by everything. We are not a political organization. We are just private and controlled by the Dutch government.
Karel often asks Dutch investors to join his projects. However, negative publicity has an impact on people, and the Dutch have certain doubts about whether or not they should join such a project after having seen such false news.
I invited a lot of people to come to Ukraine, but that's the problem. Because they say, it's dangerous in Ukraine. I said, no, it's not. You won't believe it. Yeah, but we see on television. No, you see on television maybe 1 square kilometer, and that's it. Ukraine is as safe as the Bank of England or whatever. Even more safe as Amsterdam. Here I can walk on the street in the evening on the Krishatik or whatever, nothing happens. So, and the people who are coming, they are really, wow, this is a great city, this is a great country.
Karel truly fell in love with Ukraine after all the years he has worked here. He organized a support campaign for Dutch to vote positive during the well-known referendum on the Ukraine-European Union Association Agreement.
Ik ben Karel Kinds en ik heb een bedrijf in Oekraïne waar deze jonge mensen werken. Deze jonge mensen willen democratie, net als wij. Deze jonge mensen willen geen corruptie, net als wij. Laten wij ze daarbij helpen. Stem daarom op 6 april, stem voor.
In order that the Netherlands could learn more about Ukraine, Karel advised to send sunflowers as a gesture of international friendship, just like the Dutch gifted Canadians 100,000 tulip buds.
It's easy. I'm from Holland, and the national flower in Holland is the tulip. In Ukraine, the national flower is the sunflower.
The fund has more work to do with projects in 2019. Karel and his colleagues are very pleased with such progress in their work.
Next year we have a lot of programs coming up. For example, we want to make a kids' fun day with kids from just family, kids living in a family, meeting kids from orphanages and tell them you are the same and be friends and come together and see. And we want to make a great fun place over there where they can play together and see, okay, I'm not special because I'm living in an orphanage, I'm just a normal kid. And that feeling is very important.
Karel Kinds says that charity creates the waves of positive changes within society. They help to transform corporate culture of business enterprises, making them more humane. And by giving others human warmth and support, a person receives great rewards in return as a gesture of gratitude for their help.
Just the smile of a kid, that's enough. When you do something and you see the smile of a kid, that gives you the world.